Hey guys, Dust Later Magic here. I probably should have just kept the first take. I was like, yeah, I'm all amped up to make this video. And then the first take was literally just like half a word, me coughing, and then just a string of profanity that would melt your face off. People would legit just be like, what the hell did I just click on? But anyway, you probably read the title and you're like, what the hell did I just click on? This is not any kind of clickbait. No, they did this. All right, let's read the statement. Now, this statement was posted on company.wizards.com under their articles and news section or whatever, which, I mean, in my experience, in my opinion, is where they put any kind of announcement or public statement press release that kind of paints them in a bad light. They wouldn't put it on Daily MTG because too many people will see it. Like, do you want people to know or don't you? I mean, if people hear it secondhand instead of directly from you, they don't get all this flowery corporate speak, ooh, let's give it to them softly and cover our butts kind of stuff. So really questionable choice there. But I figured let's just read it verbatim because it's always funny to read their version of it, I guess, and their take on it and their marketing speak. I guess it'd be PR speak at this point. And if you think that I'm going to actually read it verbatim without adding my own commentary, are you new here? A Commitment to Excellence by Tim O'Hara. I said that like super Japanese. It's Tim, like Irish O'Hara. Remember, skin color and ethnicity are the #1 most important trait at Wizards of the Coast. I am not joking. All right, so it starts with, it isn't often that you hear from people who work in operations. Oh my God, truer words have never been spoken. We're usually working behind the scenes on the physical production of the cards, games, and books you know and love. So operations like getting stuff done, minor logistics, card design, who do we get a printer from and where, working with the distributors, just like, operational stuff, like real, like, let's get it done work instead of like conceptual artwork, management, marketing, all the kind of soft things. This is like the core. And that's true. We really don't hear from those people. I think it's because a lot of the information is classified and has to go through like a marketing and PR and image person who clearly, whoever the hell that is the worst at their job I've ever seen a human being be. Wizards of the Coast probably has a worse corporate image from its customers than Bank of America. The only people who hate them more are their own employees. So anyway, he goes on to say, while I'm not one to step into the spotlight, taking on an important role at Wizards of the Coast is as good a reason as any to introduce myself and start shedding some light on how we make our cards, miniatures, books, and more. Oh, that's right. I think I do know Tim O'Hara, actually. I think he works on some D&D stuff, too. So anyway, he says, my name is Tim O'Hara. My God, do I wish his name was Jeff, because I would just every sentence play the My Name Jeff meme. Screw it, I'm going to play it anyway.
My name is Jeff.
I'm making Jeff his honorary middle name. So anyway, he says, I'm the Senior Vice President of Finance, and recently I added operations to my title. Okay, I don't think this is the Tim something I'm thinking of. This means, among other duties, that I'm now responsible for the quality of every product Wizards produces. Oh God, who would take that job? From Magic the Gathering cards to Dungeons & Dragons supplements to Avalon Hill board games. The operations organization touches it all. There are many aspects of the operations role that are familiar territory to me. While I've been at Wizards since 2012, prior to that, my job was running finance and operations for Red Bull in Canada. Dude, that's friggin' awesome, dude. He went from Red Bull to let's fix Wizards of the Coast financials and quality. Boy, I thought my career was a mess. Nah, I play, Tim. I'm just playing. Don't make the cards any worse, Tim. Okay, you don't need to retaliate against my snarky comments. In addition to Red Bull, I've had the good fortune to work for several other strong quality brands, including FTD and American Express. Ooh, they got a real good customer satisfaction rate. I don't know who the hell FTD is. The internet says it's a flower delivery company. Let's go with that. Although numbers have long been at the heart of what I do, I feel you, brother. I have a history working with premium brands and have a strong sense for what it takes to create and ship quality. Thank God somebody does. I understand that our products need to be more than just good. They need to be great. Now, see, that's just like, it sounds like that's just his personality, and he's like, that's my job, make the product actually good. This is not China, for God's sake. But, like, beyond that, they're the biggest trading card game. I mean, you can't have some second-rate, no-name game. I'm just trying to think of an example. I don't have one. I'll just piss people off and say Force of Will. Have the cards come out perfect. Like, they're almost always perfectly cut, perfectly printed. They don't curl. The paper's sufficient. They hold up over time, whatever. And then you got Magic, the king of TCGs, by sheer volume and customer base only, by the way. And it's just bending. It looks terrible. They're all defective. They're all cut crooked. It's like, come on, that you can't look like the cheapest. That's such a bad image. So at least he recognizes that. I'm going to send this Tim O'Hare guy some flowers. I just kidding. I'm way too broke. Might send him an e-card if I can get his contact info. Maybe some with cute little dancing penguins or something. In that never-ending pursuit of greatness, we are always looking at our printing processes, running rigorous testing. Sure you are. And collecting feedback. Now that I believe. The third one I believe influenced this decision just a little bit. I feel like they might have heard about it from the customer base a little bit. For much of our 25 years, these processes have been behind the scenes. Well, I mean, I guess. I mean, when they change it from one font where the capital H doesn't look right to one that it does, I mean, people notice. It's not that behind the scenes. For our 25th anniversary, we're going to start shedding some light on how we make the products you know and love. I mean, I guess if people don't know at this point, I don't know of a YouTube channel that hasn't mentioned, oh, it's printed here, and these are printed there, and here's how the distribution works, and it's in Texas, but the European ones are there, and then the Russian ones have a wax coating on them to prevent UV, so if you ever feel them, they feel different, and the Japanese ones are made out of recycled cardstock, which was like a law, actually, over there, I think. Like, this stuff ain't exactly top secret. It's pretty common knowledge. I just don't know about, like, people who don't like totally study MTG and watch like tons of YouTubers and all that. But then again, let me reply with, who the hell watches company.wizards.com? Thankfully, people who aren't me and sent this to me. So anyway, the article goes on to say, Tom Wannerstrand, is that his real last name? Wanerstrand. Wannerstrand. I love it. I'm going to get gay married to him just so I can change my name to Wannerstrand. I have no idea if gay couples do that. I would almost assume they don't, just for simplicity. Anyway, he has been helping to make Magic since limited edition, aka Alpha. Holy crap, Tommy. They need to call the printing process now the Wannerstrand process. That would be awesome. Anyway, let's see. He will be launching a new series next week that looks at how we make everything. Ooh, it's like one of those How It's Made Discovery Channel things. I'm old. From why you're, I could have said Mr. Rogers. Oh God. From why your cards feel the way they do to how we mold miniatures to everything that goes into packaging. That actually is fascinating. And it's like, if people are into that, I would assume it's, a little niche, maybe 10% of the customer base. But for people that are, it keeps the product line and the branding on their mind. And if they're into like that behind the scenes stuff, which honestly, like How It's Made is one of the biggest series on all of the Discovery Network back when it was on. I have no idea. I canceled cable 5 years ago because I'm broke as hell. But people were like way into that. I mean, even on the Food Network, the How It's Made offshoot was doing well. So if they attract more attention to it and then show products that people weren't familiar with and show like, here's why we do better than the knockoffs. Here's why our miniatures look better than our competition or, Chinese fakes or whatever. Like, that's cool. Like, it's interaction, it's publicity. That's very, very, very smart. And people just like transparency in general. Even if they don't find it interesting, like from a technical standpoint, they might be like, oh, okay, that's why this happens. That's why foils curl. That's why they made the decision they did. Because remember, a couple times when Wizards was like, here's why we made this decision, everybody was like, oh, and then almost felt bad for giving them crap about it. It's like, yeah, now I get it. Like, you could have just told us this in the first time. It's just like when something leaks and their policy is to never comment on it. Like, say how it happened. Everybody was like, not like, wow, Wizards is a bunch of morons. I wonder if they sent, Channel Fireball a full sheet of foils and somebody just took a snapshot because they hated Wizards. Like, I wonder what kind of back alley deals they're doing. And then it went from that to some jackass walked off with the full sheet from the printing facility and tried to sell it on Craigslist or whatever. See, then everybody's like, Wizards is the victim. This sucks. There's very little they can do. It didn't even occur at their company, and it was through no fault of their own. Boom, like transparency, Wizards. Yes, do this. I agree. So it goes on to say, to give you a preview of what Tom will be talking about, some players with highly tuned fingers may notice a different feel to your Dominaria cards at pre-release this weekend. Yeah, I picked up a card from like the first set where they use different paper, and I'm like, did they accidentally print this on a token? Like, the thickness was just barely different. The finish was a little tiny bit different. The bendability was a bit different. But the big thing, this is so huge in detecting counterfeits, is the amount of vibration that you feel on your fingertips when you grab it or tap on it. People talk about, oh, I got out my 16x microscope and this and that, and I bend it and I smell it, and that's all wonderful, but the vibration of the paper cannot be faked, especially since you have to bond it with the same type of glue. And the light test is wonderful and all that, and checking corner angles, and that's all great, but like, that is the number one way. When I just pick up a card, I already know something's not right with this. And with the density of nerves in your fingers, like seriously, he's not kidding. It's not making a joke when he says finely tuned fingers. I mean, I've probably touched like 100,000 Magic cards minimum, probably more. You start to literally get a feel for it. So yeah, as of Dominaria, they're basically changing the paper. So let's see what he says about it. As part of our adoption of best practices from our primary printer in Japan, I'm going to come back to that. That's the whole thing. We're rolling out a new coding method for cards in English Dominaria booster packs that we believe is best in class. Tom's first article will explore the finer points of card coding and what it means for feel, playability, and yes, even the new card smell. So they're not necessarily changing the paper. They never said that they won't curl, but they are putting a new coating on it, which is very odd. I mean, it might help the friction coefficient if you play unsleeved, but who does that? Here's the thing. As far as I know, the Russian cards, so I assume the ones printed in Europe and go to like the Belgium print run ones or whatever, they, last I checked, which this is like BFZ, have this weird like waxy coating on them, and I believe it's the same one used for 4th edition alternate, and oh my god, that Urza's Glasses was not a 4th edition alternate. Shut up about it. I'm not an idiot. It's not 4th edition alternate. I would spot one of those without even touching it. It was a counterfeit, and for God's sake, that Soul Ring was not a damn artist proof. I know what an artist proof looks like. It doesn't look like some ass quality I'm out of half my ink frickin' Lexmark job, okay? Anyway, I think it's like a I'm not gonna fade in the light ultraviolet protection thing. I don't know if they're on the Japanese cards. I haven't really, I don't think, ever touched one personally or opened a pack of them, but I do know that the Russian cards have that wax coating last I checked, and it is so annoying. It makes them smell weird. It makes them feel weird. It's wonderful that that protects it. I don't know why I'd have to protect my deck from UV. It's inside of an opaque deck box. So you gotta wonder, I mean, this guy seems super legit, but like, is this, we're gonna cover for the fact that it's cheaper paper by putting an even cheaper coating on it, or like, I don't know, this isn't going to help the cutting. This isn't going to help the corner problems. Like I said, they didn't say anything about curling. I don't really know if this was a fix. I mean, I'm going to reserve, just dropping the hammer on this statement until I see the cards in person. But I don't know. It's interesting. Remember, if you can take a negative change that people are going to be like, well, what's this now? It feels different. There's a weird coating on it. What the hell is this? If you can take that, which you like had to do because it's like cheaper, like you're using even cheaper paper now, like stuff that would just bend like crazy, and now you're putting some kind of weird like polymer coating on it to keep it from absorbing water, which is actually what I suspect they're doing. Like if that's what it is, and they're just like, okay, this is to cover for our crappy paper choice, or we're using even cheaper ink, like non-pigmented ink that will fade in ultraviolet, which, I mean, that's a bad example. I don't think they're doing that regardless. Pigmented ink is really expensive. You spin it as a positive, like, oh, it's a premium finish, and just like call it a feature. They might be doing that. I mean, I'm just saying. But I mean, like I said, I think this is to prevent it from absorbing as much water or losing water. Either one of those is what makes both foils and regular cards bend. That and like a weird pressure cut system they're using, but they wouldn't want to use a different method. So they complete the article with, in subsequent articles, we'll look at the talented team that has their hands in everything from molding plastics to paper stocks to packaging materials and more. And ways in which we're always looking to make products better. Now see, that's the thing though, like he makes that sound wonderful, but and cheaper might be a little bit more accurate way to, state reality. So the rumor is, and this is virtually confirmed, it's so likely there is no other explanation. Let me just put it that way. Paper got more expensive lately in America. Just everywhere in America, paper got more expensive. That's just what just happened. So they said either our cost can go up and we could just eat the difference, our cost can go up and we could raise the price, or we can use cheaper paper and hope that nobody really cares about it, which they did the third one. As far as everybody knows, without confirmation from Wizards, that's the working theory for now. So to turn it around and not acknowledge the curling, not acknowledge the just card quality in general, they're just saying, oh, we're adding a new coating. I'm a little skeptical, but I think this is their fix for it. So we will see. For the record, open up a booster at the pre-release and take a big old sniff of it, because if it's exactly identical to the Russian cards, you'll be in for a surprise. He specifically mentioned new card smell. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but that's not the way I would describe it. Let's just say I wouldn't describe it as pleasant either. I really want to say what the Russian cards smell like, but first of all, it would probably be seen as some kind of racist stereotype. And secondly, I really don't want to ruin the surprise if they did the same coating and it's the same chemicals. So anyway, this closes with Wizards has led in the gaming industry for 25 years, but continuing to be a leader in quality and innovation requires a never-ending commitment to excellence. Then why did you make the cards cheaper and crappier? Kind of contradicts that. As we get ready to celebrate 25 years of Magic and launch Dominaria, my goal and the goal of everybody at Wizards, that is not true, is to ensure that you see that commitment to excellence every day in every product. No, some people's job at Wizards and their intent is let's keep costs down. And other people, no joke, nothing matters other than like social progressivism and their morals and shoving their way of thinking on everybody. That is what shapes their entire life, their career, everything they send out on social media, everything. There is nothing more important in their life, even card quality, than having, a non-offensive pronoun for the 0.00001% of trans people in America so that they're not offended. They need to find every last person like that and fire them if they ever want to go anywhere. So if this is the big paper fix, wonderful. Oh boy, let's all celebrate and throw confetti that we're back to the baseline. And let me just remind you once again, they're not returning to the old card stock. They never said that. They're not going to the old style of paper. They're just putting a coating on the card. Will it improve it? Will it not? We'll see. I'm leaning towards yes. But I also really wouldn't be surprised by a no, so I guess we will find out, and I will be thoroughly testing them. I've got all kinds of corrosive dissolving chemicals, gonna do a water test, gonna blast it with humidity, hair dryers, a dry out test, ultraviolet. I got lasers up in here. We're gonna do everything to these new cards to try and reverse engineer what they did. So hit that subscribe button if you definitely don't want to miss that, because it should be really interesting. Whenever I do some weird scientific test videos, I've got two recurring themes. One, I usually injure myself or almost die in them. I don't know why. And two, people get really into it. Like they get a ton of thumbs up, a ton of views. One of my most viewed videos is the boil a foil one, where I boil off the front mylar layer and try and figure out what it is, and then I boil it in acid actually. And then there's this huge frickin' Reddit level discussion in the comment section about whether the bubbles were hydrogen or regular oxygen or whatever, or if it was oxidized carbon materials coming out of the acid and that's what would happen normally, and then the steel in the pan. It got deep. I really enjoyed that one. So anyway, watch for all that crazy crap. We're gonna do every test known to man, probably including the archery arrow stop test, because I still have that bone, I still have that arrow, when the new cards come out, which will be very shortly. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.